and welcome to Overwatch Apex Season 2. I am Doa, and with me is Monte Cristo, as always. And it is Afrika Freaks Blue taking on Cloud9 for our first best of 5 of the night. Oh, goody goody. It's Adam versus Adam as a play-by-play caster. This is hell, Monte Cristo. I'm in hell right now.
You know what I don't understand?
What do you understand or not understand?
So in gaming, we're fortunate, right? You can pick the most awesome name for yourself.
You can be anything.
You can be anything at all. And naming yourself Adam is like being part of a billionaire family that can get you any training that you want, you know, can grease the wheels to let you go into any career that you like, and then you become a plumber. That's how I feel about naming yourself Adam.
Now, if you really, if you really like plumbing, that's okay, right? I mean, if you have a real passion for plumbing, there's nothing wrong with that out there, of course. But I agree, you know, with as far as the names go, I mean, that's like, you know, if Bruce Wayne, you know, got all this, like, gear together and stuff like that, and then just named himself Crime Fighter. You know, I mean, like, what? Or, like, Superman just named himself Alien. Like, you
to be fair,
get more
Superman
creative.
is a pretty lame name.
Well, he's not even, well, he's
not
a
a man.
He's a man alien. He's a man in the male sense.
He's a male alien.
The gender
He's not
sense, I
a
suppose.
man.
I guess. We really don't know what's under that suit, honestly. Meanwhile, check out our groups for this tournament. Already interesting conversations tonight, huh? Metathene and Envious, 2 wins apiece in Group A. Group B is a little bit not as locked up. Yes, that's a real sentence. Don't ever question me. 2 wins for Lunatic High, a win or loss apiece for Misfits and Lunatic Blue. We're going to take a look at Group C and D tonight. Of course, Cloud9 versus Afrika Freaks Blue, and then Flashlucks taking on Fnatic. Now, if Cloud9 wins tonight, that's going to lock up Group C as far as which 2 teams are going to the playoffs.
Absolutely. It is really, it's not must-win for Cloud9. It is definitely must-win for Afrika Blue, because if they lose, we will know our playoff teams. Which goes out in first, which goes out in second will be, you know, we'll see after the conclusion of the Kongdu Cloud9 matchup.
Right.
But other than that, Cloud9 really has a very great opportunity now, stumbling over my words tonight, to
welcome to my
go
world.
to the playoffs.
Well, today's best of 5s of Afrika Freaks Blue, like we mentioned, versus Cloud9, and then Flashlucks versus Fnatic. Now, it is also a big match for Afrika Freaks Blue, because if they lose this one, this is going to be a pretty disappointing season for the Afrika organization. Afrika Red in Group B right now, down 0-2, and yeah, there could be like a crazy 1-2 tie in that group, but they're already down 0-6 in map score. So even if that tie exists, little to no chance they would ever have a shot at getting out of the group. So, like I said, if Blue loses here, it's a tough season for Afrika.
Absolutely, especially considering that they made the finals last season. And there have been a lot of roster changes since then, but the Afrika Blue we're looking at right now is really has not been performing very well. Of course, Kongdu Uncia was always, I think, the better team as far as since the beginning of Apex as a tournament, but still, you know, losing that 1-3, they looked pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, I would agree. Meanwhile, Cloud9 is an exciting team to watch right now with Mendo, Surefour, and Gods. There's like a lot of excitement on this team, a lot of like aggressive DPS possibilities, but it's also about the flexibility these guys have too. I think all 3 of them played Zarya at least some point in their last match, so it's really that kind of like the ability to sort of vary their comp at will depending on what needs to be played. That makes this team really exciting to watch. So I'm glad we're finally going to get another match with these guys.
Yeah, and also they came in and were playing primarily triple tank compositions, but they are perfectly capable of playing triple DPS compositions, which could be a bit of a wild card they could throw at Afrika Blue today. And you look at guys like Gods really surprised me coming in and playing very well on the Genji. Of course, Mendo on the Tracer also looked pretty good. But really, when we talk about the Zarya, I was, again, very impressed with Surefour's Zarya play. The speed at which he was charging Gravitons was pretty incredible. Yeah,
that's right. Both he and Mendo, I felt, had pretty good Zarya performances in that last match. And, you know, going forward, too, one thing that surprised me about that last match, actually, before we move on, is that I was surprised at how well Gods actually seemed to fit with these guys right off the bat. I was expecting it to be a little bit more scattered, the shot calling to look a little bit more off. But overall, I mean, they look surprisingly tight. Pretty quick. Well, let's take a look at our teams for the match.
홍두시아전에서 버드링 선수랑 루시드 선수가 좀 까다로웠어요. 그 두 선수가 계속 뒤를 도는 플레이를 해가지고 저희가 허를 찔리는 바람에 대박이 나서 졌어요.
영문 선수가 와서 비비면서 리즈
근데 이번에는 자, 컵박스.
Comeback Spirit was a really scary team to play against, especially when they started playing Genji, but then we found our groove when we started playing after Ilios.
C9 팀의 강점은 멘도쿠사이 선수의 외모라고 생각합니다.
이해는 사람은요.
네.
야 잘생긴 거 봐야 돼요.
멘도쿠사이 선수랑 그다음에 슈어퍼 선수가 굉장히 잘하는 것 같더라고요. 치고 들어가는 타이밍이랑 힐러들을 정확히 맞추는 에임 능력 같은 게 굉장히 잘하는 것 같아요.
자, 슈오포 선수의 명품 자리야. 그리고 멘도 선수는
네.
뭐 눈도 가는데 실력도 이렇게
맞습니다.
집중하네요.
I'm very worried about Arhan, their Genji player, because he's very known for just being a very strong Genji player. But in general, there's just not as much focus on playing around Genji in North American teams.
아르한 선수의 활약이 워낙 뛰어나서서 기대를 안 할 수가 없어요.
그렇죠. 야 아라 선수가 좀 더 강해지.
아, 그러니까요.
뭔가 오지 않습니까?
예.
약점은 그 두 명에 비해 딱히 주목할 선수가 없다는 점.
We're not interested in your second place finish. We're going for first place.
저희 팀에 희망사항이 있는데요. 우리가 각자 1인분 이상만 하면 아란 형이 캐리해 줄 거니까 1인분 이상만 하자. 화이팅!
Ah, yes, the good old Afrika Freaks Blue Blood Trail, where Arhan just cuts people apart and everyone just kind of follows and cleans up. I mean, no doubt that's kind of how they've built this team. That's how they've been playing. And Recry, has had some pretty outstanding games from time to time, but he didn't look that great in their last match. But more than anything with this Afrika Blue team is that they just haven't shown us anything different from what we saw last season. And in this season, when everybody's so much better, they're going to need to show a lot more.
Absolutely, and they just looked really confused in that
Yes.
first match. In 4 games at a best of 5, Recry played 7 different heroes. Arpon played 9 different heroes, and they really were fumbling around, finding an identity in the current meta. And Arhan on that Genji, we normally praise his Genji play, but I thought it was actually quite poor
I agree.
in their last match. He was taking very weird duels with Bird Ring that he was almost guaranteed to lose when his Reflect was on cooldown. Not very smart and safe Genji play from Arhan.
I mean, Arhan has said in the past that he likes to go for those duels and he likes to go for those 1v1s because he feels that he has the ability to win those, and then when he wins them, he has a mental edge. But so far, he's just not been delivering on that this season. Sureforce staying cool in the booth. They got AC, man. They're okay in there.
Yeah, they're okay, and it's also pretty cold in Seoul today, so...
Oh, saluting their leader, Adam in the back there, I believe. That's right. That's what every player should do towards their support, in my opinion.
Salute
I
the
agree.
support.
That's right. Salute the one who really carries you, Monte Cristo. That's what I say. Well, Adam, of course, on Cloud9, and Adam on Afrika Blue. One's a tank, one's a support. We were talking about how we're going to call Adam, which Adam, and we decided that we would call the Adam from Cloud9 White Adam, which made sense.
Yeah.
And then we would call the Adam on Afrika Blue Blue Adam, of course, because Cloud9 is white and blue. Afrika's blue as well, and Afrika Blue is only blue. So that has to be Blue Adam. So then Cloud9 Adam has to be White Adam.
Of course.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Naturally.
When you have 2 teams that both have the same colors and then also have the same player names.
Yeah. But Afrika Blue is actually blue.
Yes.
So he has to be Blue Adam.
That's right. Their name is blue.
Yeah. That's right. So, 2 blue teams going at it. Hopefully not making us blue.
I don't think it will. I think we're
I'm
going to have a
happy
pretty
right
good
now.
match here.
I think so
today,
too.
though.
Well, of course, there's the most picked by player. And, let's talk about the supports in Afrika Blue for a moment. Eamon and Mano, definitely an upgrade from Dayfly and Yes Man that they had last season. But it's interesting to see slightly better individual supports, but yet the shot calling just doesn't still seem to be there. It just feels like Arhan trying to make plays and everyone else just sort of waiting for him to make plays. And if he doesn't, then they're like, well, what do we do now?
Well, the playoff run, too, for Afrika Blue, I really think that Recry was underappreciated in that playoff run. I think he actually was the better player at the end of the last season of Apex. And he
Certainly
didn't really,
more versatile.
Yeah, he didn't really show up either in their last match. And we'll hope that's not the new normal for them. And perhaps it was just a bad best of 5 because this was a team that was carried on the strength of their DPS play all the way to the finals last season.
Yeah. So set 1's going to be on Lijiang Tower, it looks like. And from there on, the loser of the match will get to pick the next one. And we'll see how long this one goes for. You know, I feel like if Arhan really goes off, if Recry really lights on fire again like we saw in that playoff run last season, you know, maybe this is going to be a close match. Otherwise, from where I'm standing, looks like a pretty resounding Cloud9 win going into this one.
Yeah, I do think it's too early to call just because I think Africa really bottomed out in their last series, and we'll have to see how much Cloud9 has also improved with this new roster. Again, they came to Korea without very much practice. Now, several weeks later, a new patch has hit the server, but even before then, Africa were showing some very interesting strategies. Sombra defense on assaults, which I think we're going to see a lot more of on assault and control maps moving forward. So they were sort of predicting the meta.
We will find out who's adapted better. Africa Blue, Cloud9. Let's get into map 1 and see who takes the early lead in this best of 5. Time to get in the game.
I get it.
Welcome to Lijiang Tower. You know, it'd be really cool if those like metal lions would shoot lasers at people who walk too close.
I hear that's what happens in futuristic China.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Really?
They're inventing those right now in Beijing.
They're working on that? Thanks for warning me, man. Wow. That sounds scary.
You know,
Symmetra officially out of the meta.
it really bothers me that the Cloud9 logo has the 9s shaped like a cloud, but the cloud is blue instead of it being white.
Why?
Because clouds aren't blue, Doa, they're white.
Yeah, but like if you try to make your logo white, like as a former graphic designer, let me tell you, you cannot make your logo white because then it will basically not show up on anything unless it has a dark background. So there's a logical reason for this. I agree, but there's a very good reason that logo is blue. Well, here we go. The fight on the outside of the point already starting off. And we'll see what Cloud9 can get done. They are in the red. Africa Blue is blue for this map anyway. Mendo dodging around Tracer, trying to find a little bit of damage. Adam, or I should say Blue Adam, getting a little bit low. He might be in trouble here. Mendo going in for the kill. Has to recall out of there for now, but the kills are coming in regardless for each team. Quite the brawl to start things off with.
Yeah, God's actually taken down by Arhan right there, so
Yeah.
quick little advantage here.
Or vice versa, rather.
Yeah, vice versa. So we're going to see, actually, the boost coming out pretty early.
A very fast nano boost for Cloud9. Mano on the run for Africa Blue. In the meantime, Rib cornering him. Oh, but he takes a sleep dart. And ooh, man, that was close. I swear he almost got knocked off, but he was pulled back in by the Graviton search of Donghyun. And Donghyun back on the point now. He's got his own nano boost. Going to get pulled in by Gods. In a lot of trouble here, but he's managing to get the kills. It looks like Africa Blue, wow, they're still fighting over it. Cloud9 managed to grab the points, so they've got the control percent building, but this has just been non-stop action since it started.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of overextension there allowed the pickoff to come onto Rib, and then a re-engage successful here from Africa Blue, but Bendo doing a great job of stalling this out.
Yeah,
They actually forced the sound barrier, too. That's really going to be big for the next fight, and there's nobody who can hit Mendo right now, finally.
They finally get him down, but man, that cost him a good 10%, I would say, at least.
It cost him about 23% on that. When the actual take started, it was only sitting at 11%, so really a lot of time eaten up there by Mendo.
Wow.
As they are going to just go ahead and regroup now. Pretty forward defense here from Africa Blue. Couple of ultimates available, and they're working up to about 4 once Donghyun gets his, and they'll be in a situation where it's going to be 5 ults for Cloud9, just lacking that Lucio as they come in for the approach.
It's going to take a little bit of time, though. Donghyun moving in. He's got the Graviton Surge, pops it immediately. Arhan pulls out the Dragon Blade, going for the combo. Adam Ammon picking up kills. Arhan looking for a bit more. He's certainly done enough damage. Gets one right at the end, and that's going to be a pretty clean Africa Blue teamfight win.
Yeah, and they good ult economy usage right there. They only used the Dragon Blade. They didn't commit the nano boost, so they're going to have that up for the next fight. But unfortunately, they did lose Adam, who still had that Earth Shatter available, so they have to fall back. They can't play the same kind of aggressive defense. He is back now.
Yep.
They're going to fall back a little bit more, looking to use that Earth Shatter and combo the nano boost into it. They're going to get it.
Oh no, Rib falls asleep due to the ultimate. Mendo coming in now. Whoa, we got 4 with the Pulse Bomb. And that's how you win a fight. Mendo just kills everybody. If he kills Adam, this will be a 6 kill. Oh, Sureforce steals at the last second.
That was
Scumbag Surefour.
great setup there from Cloud9. Again, they hold on to their ult economy for the most part, use 2 ults to go ahead and get that wipe. No sound barrier on the side of Africa Blue to minimize that damage, and they baited them in. They knew the Earth Shatter was up, so they took the Earth Shatter. Rib got a Zarya shield on him, and when everybody committed, that's when they came in and hit the big Graviton.
Recry using his whole hog, but not really getting much out of it. Adam on Cloud9. White Adam, the support Adam, able to pick up a kill for his team.
Yeah, I'm not sure they needed to use the nano boost onto Gods right there. May have been a little bit too much, but they do keep them at bay and in the doorway for a little bit, and trade the whole hogs at the very least. But now Cloud9 going to be running on very low, but Adam in the front, and that's a good hook.
Yep, that's right. It's not going to be, Donghyun not long for this world. They do get the sound barrier, but it's a little bit late. Surefour very low, though. He gets a sound barrier from his team, and now Cloud9 going on the aggressive defense, and they are up to 80 control % right now. Nearly claiming village here. Cloud9 cleaning up.
Yeah, and especially the late kills there onto Amon and Arhan going to be very consequential. This last 10% is going to force them to rush.
Yeah.
Sound barrier, ill-advised usage there from Africa Blue, and they're going to get big banged once again.
That was a nice biotic grenade in there as well from Rolf, and that equaled not a lot of healing and a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Africa's still trying to take this one, but doesn't look like it's going to work out. Cloud9, it was a bit back and forth, but they're going to take Night Market.
Yeah, they absolutely will. I'm really surprised about the sound barrier that came out of Africa Blue there at the very end.
Yeah.
They had time to reset as long as they fell back, and instead they commit the sound barrier, especially after they had already lost their tank line.
Yeah.
You're just not going to get any value out of that ability whatsoever.
Well, I think he was trying to save Donghyun in that particular case because it went down right as Zarya died. But either way, I agree it was too late. But
it was too late. Once you lose your Reinhardt in that situation, you don't have a positional advantage. You have to funnel through that choke to get back onto the point. Sound barrier is just not going to do a whole lot. Better to fall back right there. And Africa just not having the cleanest shot calling. On the other side, Cloud9 executing a lot of great ult combos and seeming to communicate well around their opponent's ultimate abilities. And Cloud9 not switching up much this time. They're just going to run with the combo that worked for them before in the last game. Same team composition.
Yeah, Mendo building up that pulse bomb fairly quick while Rib goes in for the charge. Gets it with the biotic grenade, though. The good one, rather. Arhan gets a kill onto Rolf, though. So he gets into the back lines. Cloud9 struggling a little bit here. And Arhan for a bit more cleanup. Looks like they might just let him go. They've pushed Cloud9 back for the moment. They can just take the point.
Africa coming back with the Roadhog and the Genji, so gets the initial pick there onto the high ground. Mendo couldn't get around the flank quite in time. Did get a lot of damage down, a lot of ult charge built up, so at least they've got something to play around on their next push.
Yeah. You can hear those headshots. Oh yeah, in the right click.
Such a satisfying sound.
It really is when you're playing Roadhog. I don't know why it's more with him than other heroes, but it's so true. Arhan's pretty close to that Dragon Blade. Ooh, now he's close to the afterlife. Well, he's actually in it for a little while. Mendo's got the pulse bomb, though. Ooh, that's such a juicy target, man. So tempting with half-life, but he's going to save it, I think, wisely so. They're going to win this fight without having to use the ultimates.
It's actually huge. They didn't have to use anything at all right there. Pickoff comes in.
Nice grab. Oh, nice shield.
Shield, and also the reflect still there, so not a chance to actually finish off that kill. And that is going to be a commitment right there of the nano boost from Amon.
Well, he put it on the front of the shield, and that doesn't do a whole lot of damage. So Mendo kind of wasting that one there. Arhan, meanwhile, can't get anything done with the Dragon Blade, though. He does kill Rolf, I suppose. Nothing else. There's a hook. Whoa, Roadhog just slid across the floor there. That does not look comfortable. Goodbye. And that is a pretty successful whole hog for Gods.
Wow, Amon used the nano boost onto their Zarya Donghyun at the very start of that engagement, and that just caused Cloud9 to just pretty much easily kite him backwards and negate a lot of that damage. Meanwhile, Arhan massively overextends into the back with the Dragon Blade. No protection on him, no nano boost because it was already used, and not a very good trade there, but see if they can do something more now.
Yeah, well, okay, that's a decent Graviton surge. Well, wait, okay, there we go. Went down now. I thought he was going to throw it in a little bit earlier, but they do find the fight they were looking for. That's going to be a retake for Africa Blue. Off the back of, I believe, what was a pretty good Shatter.
It was a graceful loss, though. They forced absolutely every ult out of Africa Blue, and they only lost the sound barrier in exchange. So Cloud9 have another strong push right here. Opportunity to take everything back. All they have to worry about is Arhan. There's no nano boost coming in quickly here from Amon, who's still looking for that remaining 35% charge.
Yeah, Mendo trying to flank right now, dodges a hook. Recry in a little bit of trouble here. Wow, the charge comes through. The fight's begun right now. They're going to get Surefour very, very low here. Mendo fighting for his life against Arhan. There's that duel Arhan loves to look for, but he's going to disengage. He's low health himself. Meanwhile, goes to the front lines, gets hit with that fire strike from Rib. C9, though, on the retreat. And it looks like Africa Blue, well, that was a good kill for Gods, but it looks like they're going to regroup. Wow, Earthshatter comes through from Adam on Africa Blue. They're going to use that to finish Gods off, I suppose. Not sure if they really needed to use that there, but they do hold the point. They're up to about 80% themselves now.
It does buy them, 5-8% more time just because he died so late in that engagement, but will it be worth it? Cloud9 definitely is going to have another opportunity at a 6-man push right here, and they're coming in with a big ult edge.
Yep. That's the plan. Surefour nearly has his as well.
Yeah, be careful, though. They can't commit too many ults because they've got to hold it for another 40%.
Yep, that's right. Nano Boost used. They're going to put that onto Gods, it looks like. He's got the whole hog. There's the Pulse Bomb going in, and a couple kills. Mendo does get the one onto Dongyun. Going on to that, and it looks like Africa Blue. Did they just not touch the point? I guess not. Well, that was a bit odd.
Well, I mean, right there, Africa Blue.
Wow.
Just takes the point. Nobody was on it at the end. They tried to use the Nano Boost whole hog combination, but the Graviton Surge was a little late. They couldn't catch very many people, and a lot of the Cloud9 members were just getting hammered there by Adam in the hallway.
Well, I mean, they had plenty of people within range of the point, but just nobody touched it, so it's a bit rough of an end of a point for Cloud9, but
they
are
allowed
tied
themselves
up
to be flanked. I mean, they tried to make a play in the choke point, but there weren't any people there in the choke point to make the play on. So engagement not really working out, and it was a good spread of the Africa Blue players to make sure that that CC and the AoE damage was not going to affect them. Arhan.
Well, this is interesting.
Yeah, usually Recry is going to be the one on the Pharah, so this is a bit of a change. And Surefour also on the Pharah today.
Ooh, did he get any boops?
Nope.
Close.
No boops, unfortunately.
Close,
the
no
Pharah,
knockoffs.
Classic concussive blast right there, but not going to find anything.
Yep, Surefour just raining damage down from above. A couple kills coming in for Africa Blue early on. Out Surefour, one of the victims.
Dongyun actually getting the kill with his left click right there, and very
really
quick
close.
wipe from Cloud9. They lost Rib thanks to the Biotic Grenade eliminating the healing.
Yeah.
So their front line collapses pretty quickly. Mendo is going to swap to a Widowmaker. Nope, thinks better of it. Soldier 76 time it is.
I was going to say, Widowmaker on this point can be tough to make it work.
Yeah, absolutely can be. There aren't really good long sight lines here. And having that Soldier is a great solution to Arhan being on that Pharah.
There's a couple, but they're just not enough. All right, God's coming in. Looking for the hook, doesn't quite find it. There's a charge from Adam. Oh, he just charges right off the edge. Whoa! Blue Adam with a big mistake there, going right off the edge. Meanwhile, Recry does get the kill on the Cloud9's Reinhardt. Dongyun with that Graviton Surge. He's not going to waste any time using it. And Surefour does have the Nano Boost, and that's a great barrage from Arhan. Wow.
Yeah, they weren't paying attention right there. And even though Surefour was nano boosted and within left click range, he was trying to extend to the enemy Zarya. Instead, Africa Blue, they know the combo's available, so they just fall back after launching the Graviton and then just allow Pharah to clean that one up. Bit of a distraction.
Let's check that one again. I mean, nobody was really counting on Arhan to come in there. I just think they totally missed that he was there.
Yeah, so good to find him behind that pillar. Earthshatter going to come through. Arhan has been sound barriered.
Yeah, that's right. Africa Blue uses that one. They're in a lot of trouble now. Cloud9 not able to quite come up, and that was a double kill for Mono in that right click.
Yeah, very nicely done by Africa Blue. Last season, they looked their best on these control maps. They are very good at these big death ball brawls, has been their specialty. And even with swapping out some of the players, they have dominated in points 2 and 3 here tonight.
Yep. Well, it's one thing to win the control map, it's another thing to win the best of 5. So Cloud9, even if they lose this one, not out of it yet. Mendo coming from behind with the attack visor. They're going to use the sound barrier as well. Arhan's going to get taken out. Can't really do much about that. Adam in trouble. Mendo trying to run away.
Nobody's on the point!
Are you kidding me? Again? What?
Oh,
That
man.
is 2 rounds in a row that Cloud9 could have easily contested that, and no one was on the point. What a colossal mistake.
Mendo got a little bit too aggressive right there. He was pulled in by the Graviton Surge, to be fair, at the end. But he put himself in a position where he could be pulled in by the Graviton Surge.
You got to look at that control percent, though. I mean, when that's at 97, you're not moving off of the point.
To be fair, he thought he had time to walk up, get the kill, and then sprint back to the point with Soldier.
Perhaps.
But when he was pulled in by the Graviton, that's when things changed a little bit. He didn't have the time to get back to the point. The question is, do you take that risk in the first place? And that is definitely a bummer. So now twice in a row on those points, we see C9 go for big choke point fights and then end up with nobody on the point to show for it. Maybe over-aggressive.
A bit. Perhaps a bit. Well, the second map is going to be choice between Eichenwald, Hollywood, and Mbani. Let's see what Cloud9 elects to go with. Just a second. As we check out what our hybrid map is going to be.
What is Cloud9 going to pick here?
Mbani. All right.
When they played against Comeback Spirit, I mean, we have seen some Symmetra play from Adam.
That's right.
So certainly an option on some of these assault and hybrid maps.
We've seen some Symmetra play on the Africa Blue side as well in their last match, so would not be surprised to see it come out for both teams.
I think Africa Blue, we looked at them in last season and looked at them in the finals and said, these guys, if they're going to beat Envy, they have to win Control and they have to win Assault. And I think that's going to be true here as well. You look at, they looked significantly better on these Control and Assault maps over their history, even with those big roster changes.
Yeah.
And especially, they've shown this Sombra defense, and we know they're clever and a little bit different about how they play heroes on some of these defenses. So I think Cloud9's got to win this one.
Probably do. Well, let's get into the game and see if Cloud9 can tie things up. Or if Africa Blue takes a 2-0 lead. Time to go to Mbani and find out.
I get it.
I get it. Do you get it?
I have gotten it
We got
so
it.
thoroughly
All
over
right.
the last couple of seasons, Doa.
We have, haven't we?
All right, Mono looks like he will be trying out the Symmetra here on Numbani.
Yeah, no big surprise there. It's a pick that the Africa organization has always really enjoyed using. I know especially their coach Tyrong loves the Symmetra. Played it himself at the BlizzCon World Cup, actually.
Absolutely did. Well, with this composition, though, when you're going to opt for the Reinhardt and the Zarya and the Soldier on defense, he's putting some turrets up.
No, I mean, look at the roster, actually. We've got Eamon on the Ana, and we've got Arhan on the Lucio right now.
Yeah, that is quite interesting.
So they may actually be running triple support. I'd be pretty surprised. They could change it. There's still time for Arhan to swap, but...
Yeah, there we go, Genji. I
was
going to say,
yeah, it's
yeah, this composition still lacks a lot of verticality, so it's going to be about really defending these choke points very effectively. But the problem you're going to run in here if you're Africa, let's say Cloud9 is going to go for a very big dive composition, and look at what they're doing. Hey!
It's a big dive composition with Pharmacy in there, too.
Yeah, the Soldier at least is good against that. This would be worse for Africa if it was, say, like, you know, Winston, Genji. Got some turrets being killed right there because they can't reposition very quickly or effectively.
Sure for I really that was another turret going down, but it looked like a kill. They're tricking us with this UI, man.
Absolutely.
Either way, Recry on the run. There's another turret going down. Don't worry, it's not an actual person yet.
Yeah, but Rib already got 2.
I was going to say, Rib got a couple
This is
real
the
people.
problem. They can't reposition quickly against a dive composition because they don't have the same level of mobility. That's why you frequently see defenses on Numbani with heroes like Winston on defense, because if you don't and you take this sort of coin flip as to what they're going to run, a smart team like we're seeing Cloud9 do will just dive you on the opposite side of the point. They're going to have a numbers advantage and you just can't do anything about it. Basically, it was a 3v2 on the high ground with Winston, D.Va, and Genji in the face of the Soldier and the Ana, and it's very difficult to win that. But Cloud9 really gets a good read on that situation, instantly recognizes where they're going to have that edge, takes the high ground in a very quick cap.
Yep. Sure for still on that Pharah. Adam's got the Resurrect ready to go.
This is a great map for this long-range Pharah spam, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's very annoying to deal with. Soldier just can't deal efficient damage at this range, especially with Adam on the Mercy there, healing him up.
I mean, all you're doing is giving Mercy ult charge if she doesn't have it already. I mean, I guess you're getting ult charge as Soldier too, but yeah, then you got to worry about the Winston dive.
Yeah, they're making
the Pharah.
Yeah, Cloud9 is making a lot of space right now. This composition is extremely good at that, and they're going to try and go in. Arhan reflecting a couple of rockets.
Yeah, Rolf gets a kill already somehow. And Cloud9 just not deterred. Surefour getting very aggressive there. Rez coming in on the C9 side.
Yeah, just a small res, but
just keeping everybody up.
Make sure that you can continue snowballing these fights. And here comes a nano visor, but there is nobody to shoot. Positioning really good right there from the Pharah, and the Mercy falling behind the column. Eventually will de-suit the Diva and take out Rib. So at least got something, but it wasn't what he was looking for.
Yeah, they dealt with the tanks primarily, and Cloud9 was pushed back. So successful fight for Freaka Blue.
Yeah, Genji did get into the back line eventually and clean up those kills, so worked out in the end. And Surefour going to make that switch to the Zarya right now. No longer interested in playing that Pharah. Needs a little bit more protection for his back line. They know the Dragon Blade is up right now, so having those Zarya shields is going to be very important if they want to shut it down.
Not a bad idea. Oh, fails the jump, but he's going to run right in anyway. Go for the Graviton Surge. Arhan with the Dragon Blade. Looking for the kills, gets one. Oh, gets taken out before he can get any more, and Cloud9 turning this fight on its head.
Yeah, Mono actually held on to his sound barrier right there on the engage, so Arhan left all by himself. Again, overextending a bit, but the Graviton Surge itself wasn't great, only catching the Roadhog.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is it's been a hallmark of a Freaka Blue to have Arhan and Adam overextend. And, you know, we're seeing a little bit more of that already on the defense here. And the problem is with the Freaka Blue recently, when they've had these defensive fight losses, it takes them a lot longer to get set up again than some other teams. They're going to go in now, though. Looks like the Tac Visor coming in. Kills for Recry, maybe.
Nope.
Oh, he gets one. Rolf somehow gets taken out before the hook. Saves everyone else on the team. Arhan over on that Reaper now. Surefour's got him cornered, though. Rib going to charge over to try to get in position for a better shield. Arhan just trying to take advantage of the number of tanks, but it is not working out too well yet.
Yeah, I don't agree with the Reaper switch right here. It's not going to accomplish very much for him.
Yeah.
It's basically going to give Zarya a charge. We saw Envy attempting to run that Reaper, and Reaper not terribly strong. I don't think in the current meta, unless you're against a very specific composition, something like, you know, there's an enemy Winston and there's a Roadhog on the enemy team.
I mean, there's still reasons. Like, I think Reaper can be okay on Hollywood Attack sometimes and stuff like that, but his usefulness is very limited right now. Mendo, though, finds some usefulness in the Tac Visor. That is not a bad ult to get some results from. 2 already, and Cloud9 continues to roll forward here.
Yeah, his positioning great right now to really mess with the backline.
Oh, nice.
Awesome Helix Rocket to finish off the kill, and Mendo with a huge flank.
Wow, that was all Mendo at the end there. Gets Cloud9 the 3 points, and that is a pretty resounding success on Nimbani.
Yeah, barely held up at all, only in the Streets phase before point 2, and only then briefly. Smart hero swaps to deal with the composition coming out of Africa Blue, and they will end the map with 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, so a large amount of time left in the bank.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a Freaka Blue, you're definitely feeling the pressure right now, because as good as they looked on Control, and they do look good on Control because there is a lot of good brawling talent on this team, when it comes to anything with a payload, it really seems like these guys really struggle with both sides of the match, you know, attack and defense.
Yeah. I don't know. Africa, that was a pretty underwhelming performance by them for sure.
Yep.
And Cloud9, we'll see if they are also going to try out the Symmetra on this point. Torbjorn is something we have seen on the defense previously.
I don't want to sound too harsh on Africa Blue, but I feel like we're just seeing more of what we've gotten used to from this team, and what they're doing worked last season, but it seems like the scene has sort of surpassed them, right? That they haven't been able to keep up with everyone.
Yeah, them and BK Stars are the teams that really seem to have fallen the furthest behind when it comes to matching the improved coordination of other teams here in Apex. And
happy gods.
And there we go. So
right,
going to be placing that turret behind the flower pot there on the stairs. Very good protection.
Yeah, Yeah, gonna just go with that single support with Rolf on the Ana. They do have, of course, a self-healing from Mendo 76. Gods on the Roadhog. Ana, well, really, pretty much everybody either self-heals, has shields, or gives you armor.
Yeah, and they've got Rib on the
comp.
Winston too. You're probably assuming that Arhan is going to be playing Genji, and you need to reposition just to deal with that Genji if he gets on top of your DPS. But for now, it looks like it's going to be a Reaper, in fact, along with Pharah and Mercy here for Africa Blue.
Yeah, glad to see Recry back on this Pharah. He's shown us a lot of good stuff on this in the past. And yeah, but chance, sneaking into the second floor here. Now they're going in pretty aggressively. Coming in from the side, Recry looking for that turret. He knew it was going to be there. Nice knockoff onto Adam. Great play on that Pharah. That was exactly what they needed, and this is a pretty dominating fight already from Africa Blue. Man, I feel like they just read Cloud9 like a book.
And Arhan gets the flank in right here onto these tanks. Very good attack from Africa Blue.
Forget everything I just said, man. That was, I mean, we'll see how they do with the payload, but that is a fantastic start for Africa Blue. Clean.
Very clean indeed. You saw Adam, as soon as Arhan rushed the top there, he was on that Winston. He knew he was going to die in a couple of shots. Yeah. So he had to retreat back to the opposite side of the point, but that really opened up Pharah to get in position, hit that awesome concussive blast, deal with the turret immediately.
You know, we talk about Africa Blue's coordination, and for good reason, but I gotta say, that was one of the best executed attacks I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, they played around the Reaper really well. So credit to them, making me look dumb for talking about Reaper previously, because that was a well-executed Reaper attack for sure.
I think he is good on attack on some maps. I question his ability on defense unless there's a very specific count, but I think attack he's decent.
It was also a mind game, right? Because
sure.
You pick the Winston because you don't think the Reaper is going to be there. Otherwise, you take...
By Arhan.
Yeah, otherwise you take potentially the Reinhardt, of course. But in that instance, ended up working really well because the Winston was there, forced the Winston to reposition.
Yeah.
And then they opened up everything for themselves.
God's making a couple plays on the Roadhog there. Ults, though, for Africa Blue.
Yeah, looking good. It's hard to use that Death Blossom without instantly dying, so we'll see if Arhan can be sneaky with it.
Yeah. Recry's got that barrage too, so they have some pretty big AoE ultimates to work with. Tac Visor used by Mendo.
Mendo actually died to the barrage there from the flank, and there you go. Gets it sneaky, but the res going to also come in now. Mono manages to hit it, gets that Reinhardt back up, so this should be a pretty solid push.
Yeah. It's looking nice. Mano just keeping people up.
Was a pretty large commitment. You know, having to use 3 ults right there to push on towards the second point here, and Recry trying to make some more advanced plays just to make sure that they can get this payload all the way to the checkpoint unencumbered.
Yep. Dongyun lurking on top there, waiting for the attack going in. Saw the Reinhardt come in and threw that Graviton Surge immediately. Gonna go ahead and fire with the left click. They use the sound barrier there to keep this payload moving. Godso has a different idea. He doesn't want to go anyway. Arhan goes down already. Whole Hog now targeting the Mercy. Well, targeting whatever he can find anyway. This is the grab. And they've stopped the payload for the moment, though.
I gotta say, Doa, I have not been the biggest fan of Dongyun's Graviton Surges so far this series. That was like a blind Graviton that only caught Surefour.
I mean, they seem very, I would say, optimistic.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe his Graviton Surges.
He's just like only catching 1 or 2 people most of the time, and that means that you're just not getting very good efficiency or even combo ability.
He's trying to be a little bit too fancy.
Yes. I mean, the idea was good, but he just didn't execute it well.
Yeah.
And executed it against the wrong target. Thought there would be more people there, but went about everything a little bit too quickly, and they're going to be stalled out here. They haven't even taken that second point yet.
Here we go. Oh, barrage. Nice Helix Rocket to finish that one off. That barrage didn't do a whole lot. Mendo now chasing the supports through the hallway. That is terrifying. Arhan with the duel. He's going to win it, but not before Cloud9 has a pretty successful fight here.
I mean, the damage already done, right?
Yep.
And even
nice right click.
Lands that right click right as he comes out of Wraith form. Can they split spawn Dongyun? The answer is yes, as Gods will hit his own right click. Yeah. So Africa Blue, Recry is going to switch to Widowmaker as the payload rolls backwards.
Okay, this might pay off. Recry has had a lot of success on Widowmaker in the past. He's definitely a good player at that hero.
There's
shots.
Spamming shield right now, but it's going to be a bit slow going unless they can really commit the Reaper to it. He's still just trying to find angles right now.
Yeah, meanwhile, Arhan, no angles needed when you Reaper going at that Death Blossom, but he dies immediately to Mendo. That tends to happen. C9's going to stop this push.
Well, he didn't have any help from his backline because they were all earth shattered right there.
Oh.
And Recry was not quite in position, and now Recry is a corpse.
Yep. When I was a girl, I was afraid of Roadhog hooks.
Well, she probably still is afraid of Roadhog hooks.
I suppose. Yeah, well, she's still a girl, too. Scientifically speaking. So is a proper statement in all regards. Only facts. Only facts here on the cast.
That's what we specialize in.
That's
Facts,
right.
not alternative facts.
Real facts. Leave it all. All right, Graviton Surges coming in, and there's a big Earth Shatter for the follow-up, and Afrika Blue finally winning this fight. Now that payload's going to start moving a little bit. In a moment. There we go.
Well, finally
There we
hitting
go.
some shots on the Widowmaker with a proper engage, dumping the Graviton and the Earth Shatter in. So they get it all the way to point 2, but Cloud9, man, did they buy a lot of time. Widowmaker's still going to be used right here as members of Cloud9 start to file in for a defense on the final point. Only 2 minutes left.
Unless the payload teleports the rest of the way, I mean, that's still going to be a big time bank advantage for Cloud9, even if Afrika Blue finishes.
Yeah, they at least have a couple solid ultimates to work with right now. Cloud9 did exhaust their pool of ultimates on that defense.
Mendo's really close to the Soldier ultimate, though. Oh, wow. Shield just at the last second. Arhan has to retreat really low. Gets the heal just in time, though. Meanwhile, Adam for Afrika Blue in the face of Rib gets a kill there, but Mendo coming in with that tac visor, and they're going to pair it with the, no, they actually did not pair it with the Sound Bearer. That was Afrika Blue, but it didn't help too much.
Nope, didn't. They did have a nano boost, though, so they had to use those 2 ults that they got up instantaneously. But the crowd control is starting to be there for Cloud9, and Afrika may have wanted to get this all the way to the end a little bit faster because it's going to be very difficult with a combination of a whole hog, a Graviton Surge, and a Sound Barrier to push it in the last minute.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to be hard to just finish in general.
Yeah.
Donghyun's going to need a good ult.
He's going to have an epic ult right here, and
Yeah.
he's looking for it. They know exactly where he is, though, making no bones about it. He's going to hop in.
All right, yeah, putting it right on top. There's the Sound Barrier immediately from Cloud9, though. They survived the ultimate. Where's the follow-up? Arhan gets pinned by Rib. Cloud9 with a good fight so far, and yeah, that's going to be the end of that one.
Just saved that game. Their last hope, Afrika Blue, was to combo the whole hog in conjunction with the Graviton Surge. And Cloud9, they sit there. The Earth Shatter is up for Rib. It drops it in order to CC the Roadhog, and that's it. So, very nicely done. Follows up with the charge, takes out the Roadhog.
And one wonders how Afrika Blue is going to complete this one. It's going to be pretty tough.
It's going to be very tough with only 20 seconds remaining.
Yeah. They got to go. Mendo, though, he's got the attack visor, he's got the nano boost ready to go, and that is going to mean that Afrika Blue, I think, is going to be stopped right here, right now.
2 down, 3 down already, and they're just waiting out Arhan's breather, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, that's right. A couple members of Afrika Blue left. Attack visor for Recry. Finds no kills with it, though. Yeah, Gods gets that one, and there's the overtime. So Cloud9 will win Numbani and tie this series up.
Yeah, pretty convincingly, too. Yeah, they lost that first point very quickly, but how much time they dragged out during the second phase before point 2, really well done.
Yeah.
And then made point 3, short and sweet.
Yeah, Mendo really had a lot of hero moments on that Soldier 76 that time.
Yeah, so we're going to go into Assault now after the break, and another chance for Afrika to play on a game mode that has traditionally favored them.
Yeah. I mean, this hasn't been an ultra one-sided match. Afrika Blue doing pretty well on Numbani, almost getting the payload all the way to the end, but defense didn't look too hot.
No, their defense folded very fast across all stages.
Folded faster than Sureforce Fan.
Is that right?
I would think so.
Can he fold it fast?
Pretty fast. I mean, anyone can fold those fans fast. You just got to squeeze your hand and it just closes. That's how those fans work. We'll have to take you out and show you how those fans work sometime.
That's great. I look forward to that little road trip for us, Noah.
They're pretty popular here in Korea. You may have noticed them once in a while over the last, like, 4-ish, almost 5 years you've been here now.
Yeah, they're great.
Learning new things every day.
Good for a hot summer, you know.
That's right. And a cool February? I don't know. We'll be back, guys. Quick break, and Game 3 will be coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Overwatch Apex Season 2. We are all tied up between Afrika Blue and Cloud9. Cloud9 rocking them on Numbani. Afrika Blue getting that first win of the match on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, hasn't been the cleanest Overwatch for sure. A lot of suspect ultimates, a lot of suspect duels occurring on the map right now. Big overextensions from Arhan, but Cloud9 at least getting the better of them in the hybrid map. We are moving on to Assault here.
The tale of two Adams, as you can see on your screen. I say, and I said this on Twitter too, I think the loser has to change their name.
I think that's absolutely fair.
I think it's very reasonable for both teams, for us, for fans out there who are confused. I say, and I hope everyone out there supports me, the loser of this match, the lesser Adam, must change their ID.
You can no longer be the first man.
I mean, I'd like to say the reward for winning the match is getting to change your ID from Adam to
Yeah,
something
that definitely.
else.
Maybe we should have put that as the rule instead.
I think it could work both ways. As long as somebody changes their name after this one, for whatever reason, I'm happy. Let's find out what our third map is. Let's see. It's going to be one of our two assault maps, Volskaya or Hanamura. Going to be Volskaya Industries. This is the map that Afrika Blue won. The only map that they won in their last match against Kongdu Unsi, I believe it was.
And they did it with Sombra on defense.
That's right.
So we have seen that Sombra come out with some increasing frequency on control and assault maps. And this is a time where Arhan will have an opportunity to run that again.
Yeah, Arhan likes playing that hero. They've been trying to work it into some comps, and it's had varying levels of success, I'd say. But this is another prime opportunity for them to give it a shot.
It really does depend on how exactly the health packs spawn on the map, where everybody typically defends versus the locations of the large health packs. Unfortunately, on Volskaya, you have that bunker on the side of the point that spawns that mega health pack and makes it very easy to fall back and continue to get heals.
That's right. Well, it is time. Let's see who breaks the tie and puts themselves one game away from winning this one. Afrika Blue versus Cloud9. Let's go to Volskaya Industries and find out.
I get it.
Do you get it? Does anyone truly get it?
I'm getting it right now, Doa.
Are you
getting
really?
it so hard.
Wow. I didn't even notice.
I know you didn't.
I'm only paying attention to this great best of 5 of Overwatch action. I'm getting it from the match.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, too.
What'd you get me?
Well, I have an empty cup of coffee here, so maybe that's.
You didn't get that from me. I have my own coffee.
It's all right. I don't
I'm
subscribe.
so disappointed.
I don't subscribe to these materialistic invented holidays anyway.
Really?
Yeah, screw that.
Yeah, right. You're gonna go home and you're gonna have like a big teddy bear with a giant bow on it.
And I'm going to give it to myself because, as you know, Doa, the only thing I've ever really loved is myself.
You're going to you're going to be up in your apartment, high up in the air, and then you'll hear a sound from outside, and you look out the window, and it'll be you holding a boombox,
That would be amazing.
proclaiming a song.
All
of how
right,
great
I'm
you
okay
are.
with that.
Monty's Valentine's Day
Somebody write me a song about how great I am real
coming
quick.
to the Hallmark Channel this fall.
All right, God's back on the Genji now, and Surefour on the McCree. So finally,
Cool.
we're going to see a 3 DPS composition here from Cloud9. This is something fun that we were hoping might emerge, and Arhan getting a little poke damage right now in the Genji on Genji action.
That's right, it's a Genji duel. Arhan, ooh, very low, down to 33, really wants to win this one. Remember, like he said in the past, he's like, I want to duel the other Genji, I want to beat them, I want to make them switch. That's his goal.
So this is actually a really interesting composition that we're seeing. With triple DPS, you're going to have an opportunity to really win this cross-point Reinhardt shield battle and force the drop down. So God's actually going to get in there, put them back inside the hallway right there. Coming back around for a little stabby.
Well, Mendo gets a little bit of rockety, if that's a thing, on Dongyun's mech there. God's back in the back line once more.
Man, that is
Really
so
annoying
for the enemy Reinhardt to deal with.
No kidding. It's a bit low, and wow, Arhan the first to go down of the Genjis, and Cloud9, they're in a great position to take this point.
So that's just really good play. So basically, when you see
goodbye.
Great coordination from Cloud9. So when you have the Genji there, he's poking, but you can't turn the Reinhardt, because if you do, you can no longer defend that point, and the McCree and the soldier from the opposite point will just whittle you down from long range.
Yeah.
So you either have to back in there and therefore not have the opportunity to drop down onto the point. So great flank there from Gods. Cleanly executed attack. Surefour is sneaking around for a nice big Deadeye.
Oh yes, he's got his dead eye on you. Whoa, but first he's got to kill Recry apparently. Man, Gods though, pulling out the Dragon Blade. He's gonna take a bunch of Surefour's victims, I guess.
Nice sleep dart though, actually nullified the enemy nano boost more or less. I don't think we're gonna get anything from that, no.
Oh, he pops Dongyun out of his mech. That's pretty big.
He did get something for it, it turns out.
Yeah, Rib was able to get in and finish off Adam too. Cloud9 on the point with everybody up for now. Now they just got to handle the respawns. Recry, a little bit of trouble. Arhan fighting Gods off up there as well. Mano just sitting cool up at the top. Goodbye, Recry. Wolf with the kill there. Cloud9 doing okay so far, but that's a big Earth Shatter coming in from Adam.
Arhan at 10 HP on that Dragon Blade, but he still manages to get some pretty decent value out of it.
It's a very late sound barrier for Cloud9. They feel they've got enough people up to keep this point going. They've got 2 ticks on the control meter already. So it's going to be tough, though. Adam's still alive, Rib's still up, but he doesn't have a lot of health left. They're going to need some reinforcements. Yeah, I think it's time to back up for sure. Goodbye, Rib. That's a really bad split spawn for those guys, unfortunately.
Yeah, Recry actually nailing that flashbang after having switched to the McCree. So Cloud9 invested a lot of ultimates. They do get 2 ticks on the point, so not a lot of time needed. They get 1 wipe. They will win.
Yeah. Well, Gons has the ultimate now. Rib has his Earth Shatter as well.
That's unfortunate for C9. They were on the verge of having a 5.5 minute or so time bank.
Yeah.
To get stalled out.
Could still get a pretty good time on here.
Well, it's going to come down to Mono and how well he can use this sound barrier, as Surefour on the Tracer for the first time in this series, sneaks around the side.
On to Adam, doing the damage. Oh, Amon rather. Misses that sleep dart. Amon in a little bit of trouble here. Gonna get taken out. A couple kills for Afrika Blue though in the meantime. In the other parts of the fight, things not going so well for Cloud9.
Yeah, basically Afrika Blue just charged the front line when they realized they were getting flanked, so quickly trading the enemy front line for their own Ana. Yep. And Arhan working his way back up to a fully charged Dragon Blade.
Cloud9 working their way up to more ultimates as well. Gods has his Rib, Rolf ready to go.
It's still the problem that they're going to have to deal with, though, is the combination of self-destruct and the sound barrier means that they pretty much have to get those ultimates out before they can make a very good attack here. Yeah.
All right, nano boost onto Arhan. Got the Dragon Blade. He's going to go for it. Oh, what happened there? Did he get pinned? I'm not quite sure, but either way, he's got the sound barrier, and he's going to go down Mendo. Again, the hero with that Soldier 76 ult. God's very low, though, taken out by Recry. It's a brawl, and that is not what Cloud9 wants right now. Nice kill on the Adam. Wow, that was a very long range.
Yeah, looked good there for a moment for C9. However, they didn't have the damage, and both Genjis were nano boosted. And even though Arhan died early on, he actually picked up the kills. So There wasn't enough pressure onto that back line. So the Ana sort of healing through the entire engagement. Amon making the most out of his positioning on the high ground.
Cloud9 used some ults there too, so now Freaka's done a good job burning a lot of that time. Sure4 coming around the back now. Rest of Cloud9 kind of stuck. They get a little bit separated here.
Arhan is on the Bastion now, so a bit of a surprise.
Now we've seen him play it in the past. He loves his hero, but
yeah, hasn't played it this season though.
Yeah, that's right.
He is a very strong Bastion player.
We've seen it in other tournaments. He's known for this pick, but we have not seen it in a long time.
Yeah, interesting that they switch it up after the Dragon Blade goes down.
Sure4 waiting for a chance to drop down that Graviton Surge. They're going to go in now. Ooh, wow, Rib does go down. Recry just has been untouched on the top sound barrier for Cloud9. You know, after they've lost their tank, I'm not quite sure about that one. Meanwhile, Arhan just tears apart Sure4. Wow, nobody can handle this Bastion at the moment.
Well, you know, this is a good read. What happened is we saw the gods, you know, switching off the Genji, coming in on the Roadhog, and the Bastion swap really punished that very nicely. And again, we've seen some suspect sound barriers from Adam on this second point. He's been popping those at the end of these fights when they've already pretty convincingly lost.
Yeah, you know, I feel like Cloud9's trying to force the second point too much, you know, rather than sit back, take it patiently, go for more coordinated stuff. They're just trying to grind their way through it, and that's ending up costing them more time than they probably would have had to use otherwise.
Well, what's their plan going to be against this Bastion? They're going to actually, looks like speed boost themselves up to the top level with a speed boost jump right there and try and get the high ground advantage from the backside to deal with the Bastion.
Sure4 threatening with that flank with the Graviton Surge. He's going to drop it right about now. Yeah, there we go. Meanwhile, Mendo does have the Earth Shatter, comes out, lands with a couple members onto Cloud9. Mendo not really finding the kills he's looking for. Cloud9 getting some though. Gods with that whole hog now. Adam finally loses that shield, but Recry still untouched. There's a nice hook. Adam will go down, but Cloud9, do they have enough? The point is nearly there. Dongyun though, delaying on that Diva. This is crucial, man. They do not want to let Cloud9 have this. The Mei comes in. Mono swaps over. Arhan has the Bastion ultimate. He could turn this one around. Gets so low. Does kill Rolf, though, but Sure4 finishes him off. Now the fight back into full swing. Gods gets a couple. And Cloud9 still standing strong on the point. Dongyun is back on the Diva once more. And it takes so long to get rid of that Diva that here come the respawns. You can see them bouncing on the point, but it's not enough. Cloud9 with 2 points on Volskaya.
Yeah, less than a minute remaining though.
Yeah.
So credit to Africa for stalling out for about 5 minutes, which is obviously quite challenging to do when that first cap came in so quickly. Finally managed to grind that one out. Really smart movement on the top side, using that Lucio boost to get the jump down, and then making sure that the Bastion was never going to have a long sightline on them as they came around and took control of the high ground on the backside of the point. You don't really see that movement by attacking teams very often on point B, but it was an elegant solution to the Bastion issue.
It was a unique path, and I wonder if that's one we're going to see a little bit more often.
That was nice stuff. I'm impressed. Very rarely do you see that kind of attack on point B on Volskaya, but
I like it.
Yeah, that time worked out quite well.
Yeah. Freaka Blue flipping over to the offense now. We've gotten really lucky, actually, that Freaka Blue has remained blue.
Yes.
For this whole series. I know I just jinxed it by saying that, but I've enjoyed it while it lasts. A Recry on the Widowmaker this time, too.
Sure is nice when teams stay the same color for an entire best of 5.
I love it. Makes me all warm and happy inside.
You know what, Doa? You know, I remember when I was casting Warcraft 3 12 years ago, I remember that there used to be a little drop down for the players in custom games that allowed them to set their color. You know, weird that that doesn't exist in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Kind of odd.
Or at least, I mean, at least I would love the ability to just set a team as red and blue. And if that just got added to the game and we don't know it yet, we look dumb saying this, but I don't think
like
it's
a
in there
patch
yet.
yesterday.
I don't think it's in there yet, so we can say that. At least to be able to choose red and blue for now.
And if it is in the game,
we can deal with the other
good
colors
job,
later, I
Blizzard.
guess. But yeah,
You're
if it
great.
is in there, we love you. You're wonderful.
And if it's not in there, put it in there, Blizzard.
Please.
All
We
right.
love you anyway.
So Recry back onto the Widowmaker, and of course running a dive composition with this. Arhan with a quick flank around the side, using the dash and the double jump to clear the distance.
El Clasico coming from the left side there.
Wow,
there you
gets
go.
decked and hit with the butt of a rifle to his doom. And
Oh, and the response.
The response kill, pretty quick there, pretty rapid.
Cloud9 with a pretty solid defense so far.
Surefour making his way back to the point. Sorry, was Surefour who died?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Gods goes down. With the kill onto Adam, though. Africa Blue just trying to grind this one out. And Donghyun with a really nice position there, actually. Had some help up in the upper window. Cloud9 in some serious trouble here. Man, Donghyun really finding the support he needs to just destroy people with this diva. Play the game, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you the play of the game oracle, Doa?
I am, and I have seldom been wrong.
You know what the play of the game actually there was Amon's biotic grenade, to be fair.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was not, well, yeah, that was this match. But we all know that those never get played of the game.
No, they don't. But right there, Amon has actually had some very good biotic grenades so far this series. Another example that we just saw.
I mean, and this is what Africa Blue is good at, these maps, you know? Control, assault, this is their bread and butter. And if they can claim point 2 here, they will have a massive time bank advantage.
Yeah, absolutely huge. And
how do you get up there?
Rocket jump, most likely.
Yeah, you probably, I wonder if you can.
And then he's going to have to fall all the way down, though. Primal Rage coming out pretty early on from Blue Adam.
Yeah. All right. Africa Blue, though, channeling this into a pretty solid team fight. They're getting a lot of control percent built up. In fact, do they just have it? Is this just it? Wow, Africa Blue, 621 in the time bank to the 47 seconds of Cloud9.
Yeah, there were some
Insane.
pretty bad split spawns at the end of that fight. Surefour dying so early on really did cost them quite heavily. And he came back, wasn't on the point, was trying to take the duel with the diva behind the point instead, and then died. So basically got no ult charge. Didn't actually buy any further time for his teammates, and that snowballed pretty quickly with the ult advantage that Africa Blue had. They make it look quite easy, and this is going to have to be either a lightning-fast attack by Cloud9 as they get bumped up to a minute. Basically, if you're C9, you're hoping right now that you can take point A, and then you'll hope that maybe you can full hold them, probably not, but at least you can force this into a draw, which would mean the final sudden death on this map would take place on a single control point.
Yeah. Well, it would be kind of funny if Africa Blue, their only 2 wins in the tournament would be 2 wins on Volskaya. If they end up losing this match in the next one.
Yeah, that would be
interesting. Donghyun obviously having a very successful run on that diva last game. Still viable.
Still very viable, and pretty standard 2-2-2 for them here. Got some range. And Cloud9, they're going to be going with a similar composition. No McCree this time. Surefour going to be flanking on the Tracer instead, but the principle should be the same, except he should go around the right side while his teammates take the the high ground there on the left.
Yeah, it's all about speed here.
All right, so Genji and Tracer flanking together. Don't have a Reinhardt this time, so they may just dive up there instantaneously, actually.
I think that's pretty likely. Mendo softening up that shield. They're going to send Rib up right away on the Winston. Surefour coming around from behind, getting the damage on Mendo. Pops Donghyun out of the diva suit. Surefour looking for a little bit more damage. Rib already has 1 kill. There's one for Surefour. Africa Blue fighting back, but it looks okay for Cloud9 at the moment. Mano kind of on his own. And it looks like he gets behind the shield. Same time, no, Mano does go down to Gods. Surefour looking for a bit more, trying to prevent them from getting the health pack, but they do. Cloud9, though, getting that control percent built up. We're already going to be into overtime here in a second.
Yep, Adam is still falling low. He can go in and get this. Needs to start meleeing. There he goes. 2 of those take down at Reaper. Recry making the desperate defense here on the Tracer, but that's not going to work. So C9 does take a very quick cap. They're going to have 30 seconds here. And that's it. So this has got to work. They have 1 ultimate to work with, and it's only a pulse bomb right now. God's 10% away from the Dragon Blade.
Surefour nearly dying to Arhan right off the bat. Got to be careful.
No, they just have to push this so quickly. 14 seconds left.
Yep, down to about 10 now. Gods comes in if he loses this duel. Oh, he beats it. Arhan does go down. There's a pulse bomb. He takes out Recry. That's 2 taken out in favor of Cloud9 already. Gods pulling out the Dragon Blade. And wow, Cloud9 may actually have a chance here.
Well, they're starting to
They
build up
gotta
that
get the-
control percentage just a little bit. They do
Yeah.
have that big advantage. Surefour using that rewind, get some of his health back, and a nano boosted tack visor is going to clear everybody up. Percent has
boost on Mendo.
started to ticking up right now.
Wow, are you kidding me? Are they actually going to be able to do it? Recry on the May. They got to stop him from coming on. I don't know if he got to the point. He did. He stopped it. He stopped the control meter. There's Winston now. Adam on the Winston, not lasting too long. Recry taken out. Donghyun back on the Diva. This is what's been so annoying in the past, but Cloud9 with a great position. There's the self-destruct though. Oh, the overtime! The overtime. Nobody was able to stay on the point.
Well, that's just a heartbreaker, but that is one of the great things about heroes like Mei and Diva in these overtime scenarios is it can just push everybody off the point and take that win. So very tenuous position right there. Had it not been into an extended overtime, C9 may have been able to take that. Really, though, I thought C9 was going to get it because they actually stopped the Primal Rage at the end there in the middle of the activation animation.
Yeah.
So not having that ability to defend with nearly cost Africa Blue that defense, but they had the self-destruct at the last second. So
I mean, you can always say, yeah, somebody should have just sat in there and taken it, but in the heat of the moment, you know, how are you going to make that call? It's tough to blame them for everyone moving off there, but that hurts.
As it goes, usually you lose one person, and you can no longer keep up the pressure on the objective, considering the spawn is just so much closer to the defense.
Sure. It would suggest that if there was any other option.
It's really hard to make that call for sure, and that's self-destruct is just one of those game-winning ultimates. Takes a long time to build, but in a specific situation like that, it can absolutely make sure that your enemies are not going to cap a point or be able to stay on the payload. So,
well.
In any case, Africa Blue now looking like Recry might be playing the hog on attack. Let's see. Yep, he's going to go for Cloud9 on a triple DPS defense this time around. So definitely mixing it up. Only there we go. Adam also on the so 4 people on the high ground.
I mean, they've got to hold for 6 minutes. It's going to be very, very difficult
so
if they want to try to win this one outright.
I mean, Gods and Surefour have to take out the backline. They have to start taking out these supports.
Yeah.
As you see Africa Blue move in, and they're not worried about this because there's not a big front line, so they're just going to hop onto the point immediately because they have more tanks.
Yeah. Oh, Rib diving deep, gets the charge kill onto Mano, so Cloud9 winning this early defensive fight so far.
Rib's having a very good series so far for C9.
Yes, he is. He did get taken out by Adam now, but Young for the boop kill. Doesn't quite find it. He's going to have to back off for the moment. Retreat from Africa Blue as they try to reset things. Wow, that's a late kill coming in from Surefour onto Ammon. So
that's crucial right there because Africa Blue had backed off. They were attempting to just wait for their respawns and make a quick push before the respawns and the reinforcements from Cloud9 could get there. So that pick really delays everything and makes maybe 30 more seconds go off the clock as a result.
So Cloud9 only has to do that 6 more times now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If they want to win, I think if Cloud9 right now is probably going to be pretty happy with the draw considering how miserable their first defense was.
Yeah, if they can get it. Aran, granted the nano boost, going to go in onto Cloud9. He's got the Dragon Blade. Time to charge forward. Adam goes down early in the first one. Aran not really finding anyone else with it, though. Gods gets one of his own with his Dragon Blade.
And here we
There's
go.
a nano boost from Mendo. He's got to watch out for that Genji from the side. Nano taken down. Africa Blue. That Reinhardt shield, man, that really was tough for Mendo to deal with. There's the self-destruct. And he got two. How in the world did he get 2 with that?
Yeah, people not being able to get behind cover. There's a lot of space to cover if you're in the middle of that point.
Well, luckily for Cloud9, though, the rest of them managed to clean things up, and Africa Blue has to regroup.
Yeah, they saved their nano boost. They used the Dragon Blade on Gods without nano boosting him. So had an option with the nano boost attack visor, knew that they were going to have high ground control after the nano boost had ended for Africa Freaks Blue. And took that advantage. Good biotic grenade thrown in there too by Rolf.
Yeah, Arhan back again. Africa Blue is really kind of surprisingly struggling at this point.
Nice dash through right there. Has to be a little bit careful of the Tracer, who currently controls that low ground. Both Genjis just being as annoying as they can be right now, but Arhan going to win that duel against Surefour.
Yeah, they lost Mano early on, though, so he wasn't there for most of that push. Arhan kind of low, just trying to survive. And they're going to go and use the sound barrier. Cloud9 going on the attack here.
God's chasing Arhan around right now.
Wow, what a duel. Oh, he gets him. Arhan can't quite get back on top.
Fortunately, don't get with the follow-up kill, so Recry finds himself alone on the point right now.
And finds that one.
Flashbang not enough. Yes. And
wow, Rib. Nice Earth Shatter into that Fire Strike. He really has been having great series. Swapping over to Surefour now. Has the Pulse Bomb ready to go. Cloud9 continues to hold here on point A, down to 2:55 on the clock.
This is already a very impressive point A defense.
Yeah.
Cloud9 coming out in the clutch here when their backs were against the wall, nearly 2-cap in under, well, what was it, a minute and a half of clock time that they had.
Yep.
And now they've managed to cobble together a lot of time.
Well, this triple DPS has been working very well. Arhan with the Dragon Blade, though. Now it's nice sleep dart. Oh, but he gets woken up right away. Doesn't survive long enough to use it. And Mendo turns things around in a hurry. Didn't even need that health back. He just wanted to take a breather.
Try and use that self-destruct. Not going to get anything this time.
Yep. Well, 2 ticks on the control point so far for Afrika Blue, but that's all they got.
Yeah, 2 minutes. So you can absolutely wake up the Genji in that situation because his wake-up animation, if you have a nano-boosted soldier right next to him, when you think about it, he's just doing normal damage because it's a 50% damage reduction and a 50% damage increase. So
that's a good point.
He can still just kill that Genji if he's not moving nearly instantaneously.
True. Uh-oh. Wow, Arhan sniped by gods from across the map somehow.
The shuriken snipe.
Guess so.
You never expect it.
That's a true ninja move right there. He cried very low, but he does get the flashbang in there. God's taken out as he tries to go for another kill. Afrika Blue with a chance here to move in as Arhan will be coming back. There's a Deadeye. Pulse Bomb. I believe that did stick on to Dongyun, but he's getting the heals now. He didn't get popped out of the mech. Flashbang. Oh, tried to catch Mendo, but that was a very elusive Tracer move there. Surefour, rather.
Yeah, that was so close. They tried to get the zone just to knock off the last tick on this point. Sound barrier to come in, and it looks like this is finally going to be Afrika Blue's chance to take this first point. It is so close to falling, and it will eventually. But wow, that was a 5-minute hold there from Cloud9, and they're coming back on defense with a better supply of ultimates to use. God's actually going to switch now onto the Roadhog. See if he can pick up a hook.
I think it's definitely better for point B. Roadhog's really good in this point. Adam, half health already, has to bow out. There's a Primal Rage, though. He's going to go back in. Arhan with the Nano Boost. Nano Boost on Mendo as well on that Soldier 76. Arhan's going to have to take a break. A lot of that Nano Boost getting wasted. Here's Cloud9. Looks like they're going to secure this point for now. Yep, that's right. Afrika Blue resetting. 1 minute left. No ults to speak of for Afrika Blue.
Yeah, none at all, and still an Earth Shatter remaining for C9, so Afrika really tried to make that final push work. They are going to switch on to the Reinhardt right now, so they can have a slower approach to this point. They've got a self-destruct, though, so something to work with. Surefour is preemptively switching onto the Mei just so he can build some ult charge and maybe get a Blizzard by the time this fight is over.
Probably a good idea. Cloud9 just going for a complete hold-oriented composition, man. Mei, everything else. Roadhog.
Oh, he gets desuited without before he can use self-destruct. That's absolutely huge. Joe, he has to use it on the high ground.
Really inopportune self-destruct, though. I mean, he just wanted to stay alive, but that is rough, man. Afrika Blue just trying to survive on the point for as long as they can. They've got some control percent building. Arhan did get the kill onto Adam, though. So Cloud9 in a bit of trouble.
Mei is dead, so...
Gods is dead, too. This could be it. Arhan with the tac visor gets Mendo. And I think Cloud9 actually lose this one right here, man.
Adam's up top, but he gets booped away.
We're in OT. Afrika Blue right here, right now. They're going to take it. Afrika Blue wins Volskaya once again.
Adam thought he was being so sneaky, but he got knocked back before he could drop onto the point at the last second.
Wow. Well,
and I'm pretty sure Gods is Dead is something that Nietzsche said.
I think so, too, yeah. Sometimes you just have to just scream that out during a cast, I guess. Well, maybe that's what I feel like Afrika Blue have made some sort of pact with some sort of evil being in the alternate dimension because they seem to only win Volskaya.
Well, but you know, they won the control map here today, so got that going for them. But
it's true.
That was a desperate attack right there and just not enough from C9. I do like how they preemptively switched to the Mei in the hope that if it did go into overtime, the Blizzard could help them ride it out. But unfortunately, Mei Surefour died pretty early on in that final engagement, and nothing could have saved them without that Blizzard by the time The clock hit 0.
So we are going to our payload map. It will be Cloud9's choice. First, we're going to see the play of the game, and well, you know, if there's a Bastion in the game for any length of time, it's going to be this. Yeah, other things happen, but look, watch this. Watch, Bastion kills people. Oh, there's one.
Yep.
And,
Wow,
yeah.
that.
Wow, what a play.
What?
What a play. Whoa.
Great algorithm that selected that game. That play of the game.
That wasn't even the most impressive, you know, out of the 30 seconds he played that hero.
Too funny.
Play the game. Well done.
Play
Well
the
done,
game,
Ara.
everybody.
Yep. Let's see what Cloud9 picks for their escort map. They're going to have a choice between, it looks like Route 66 and Gibraltar. They will go with the map known as Gibraltar.
Alrighty, well, we did see Cloud9 look substantially stronger on Dumbani.
Yes. Very true.
And it has been a habit of Africa Blue to collapse on hybrid and payload maps in the past, but they only have to win one. So I feel that they're not in too bad of a position right now. It's one of those weird scenarios where it's like, okay, well, we can be terrible at payload, but we only have to win 1 out of the 3 payload maps.
I guess. I mean, Africa Blue is such a puzzling team right now because they're clearly very good at brawling. You know, they're very good at getting in there, forcing a lot of small engagements, scrapping it out. When it comes to pushing a payload, things get a bit dicey. So we'll see what they can do on Watchpoint Gibraltar. Got a feeling this one might go to map 5 here.
And definitely has a strong possibility, Noah.
Well, we're about to find out. Time to go to Watchpoint Gibraltar and see if Africa Freaks can close this one out or if Cloud9 can tie it. Let's get in the game and find out.
I get it.
See, Techno Song Voice Guy, you keep telling us that you get it, and I feel like this repetition is leading us to believe you actually don't get it. You're just very insecure, so you're telling everyone you get it over and over. I'm a little bit worried about you, Techno Voice Guy.
I think I'm worried about most techno voice guys.
That's true.
They tend to be highly repetitive and annoying.
I'm really worried about the one that goes, "Come on, Barbie, let's go party." That's the one I'm most concerned about.
You wouldn't party with Barbie, Noah?
No, I don't think so. No.
Not even in Malibu,
Not,
California?
Not my world, no. Not my kind of world.
Not your jam.
Not my jam.
Which action figure would you party with?
That's a tough choice. There are a lot of great action figures over the years. Huh. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I gotta go with the classic. I'd love to party with everybody in the He-Man universe in Castle Grayskull.
That'd be pretty sick.
Let's have a big feast, lots of mead, giant lamb shanks.
See, I'd either party with, I'd find a transformer that turns into a bar.
Yeah, that's a great idea. There you go.
I think that's what I'd go with. Or Michelangelo for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Kegamus Maximus. I think I've heard of that guy. Yeah. One shall stand, one shall drink too much and fall. I think that's what Optimus Prime said.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, the game's begun. Cloud9 on the attack.
Oh, right, video game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Going for 2-2-2 this time around, but definitely much of an aggressive dive comp with Africa Blue. Doing a pretty classic defense here on Gibraltar, but throwing in Arhan on the Genji.
Yeah, they're sticking with a Tracer right now, Cloud9, which is not something you typically see on this point. Amon actually gets caught out on the flank right there pretty quickly.
Yeah, Cloud9 with a pretty aggressive attack here. They're going to move this payload, and Africa Blue just absolutely decimated so far. Shepard can't quite finish off Arhan, though. That can be a little bit tricky.
Amon going to get a decent in the meantime as two Genjis wave their swords in front of each other.
It's like a lightsaber battle in Revenge of the Sith, man. It really accomplishes nothing.
Well, actually got the kill on Tariq right there instead of, even though he didn't actually stick that pulse bomb. However, stabilization here from Africa Blue. Surefour has just been a menace on this Tracer.
Absolutely. Mendo now trying to be his own type of menace on the Genji. Don't you desuit it again. Taken out of the suit.
And you really see the versatility of these hero pools on Cloud9. Mendo, and we've seen Gods play the Genji for most of this series, as well as Mendo playing the Tracer most of the time, even though, of course, Surf4 well known for his Tracer abilities. And they're just switching it up, and Mendo getting the necessary kills, pops that Dragon Blade, and now they already have control of the high ground here in the hangar.
Yeah, Afrika Blue may have a really hard time even doing anything with this. Pulse Bomb, just to kind of buy some more time for Cloud9 as they push this payload. It's already almost all the way through.
I mean, if you get a kill there, great, but great timing on the Pulse Bomb, too.
Yep.
Making sure they weren't going to be able to enter and try and retake that high ground. Arhan hit by that Bionic Grenade and on the run as Gods will hunt him down, or Mendo rather. Sorry, now I'm getting confused. All these hero swaps.
Yeah, welcome to my world. Recry on that Soldier 76. Now finally some defense for Afrika Blue. They do manage to fight back a little bit, but having some trouble handling Rib. Rib will go at Primal Rage. Meanwhile, Surf4 gets 2 on the periphery of that fight. Rib smacking people around. Donkey Kong, you don't want to mess with this guy.
Still managed to get in the payload, however.
Yeah, they're stopped it.
Not going to get desuited into the end, though, and another Dragon Blade coming through.
A sound barrier used by Cloud9. They really just want to finish this one off, but Nano Boost now onto Adam is going to buy Afrika Blue even more time.
Very smart.
Blue Adam, rather.
Blue, yes, very smart.
Blue Adam. Yeah.
Nano Boost onto Blue Adam right there really nullified their ability to push the payload.
God's on the Diva now.
The Genji simply could not turn onto it.
Yeah. Afrika Blue just all over this payload. Cloud9 has to back up and regroup. Recry going to make it take a little bit longer there.
Yeah, nice D-suit at the end.
Yeah.
That's very punishing, and they'll just wait a little
I just say
bit
let him
longer.
live, man. Let him live. He either has to, seriously, he either has to run all the way back, swap, and then get back in the suit, lose his ult charge that way, or he just, makes sure that he dies. Well, it's a long time before he gets the suit back up. Meanwhile, Mendo.
Recry did show mercy in the end.
I guess so.
Adam jumped on top of a sword, however. Blue Adam, that is.
It's a Blue Adam, no. Rip comes in, nearly has that Primal Rage. Oh, but Recry takes him up before he can use it. Mendo on the Genji now, looking for the kill on the Mano. He finds it. Mendo with 2, actually. Aron striking back with his own Genji. This has just been such a brawl.
Yeah, it has been on the sloppier side for sure. Surf4
Take that payload.
definitely didn't need to use that Pulse Bomb right there, even if he had gotten the kill. Not a huge amount of benefit.
Well, Afrika Blue really falling into a nice defensive rhythm here. They've taken the high ground near there, and Cloud9's trying to break it, but Rib is kind of by himself right now. Oh, did I say by himself? Mendo there with the Dragon Blade, and definitely not alone.
Yes, and also we see that they just had a huge ult bank advantage, so as good as this hold has been for Afrika Blue, because the rest of the map had progressed so quickly, Cloud9 can sort of just grind this one out.
Oh, they're trying, but Afrika Blue still has purchase on the payload for now.
Nobody's been able to really remove the Winston or the Diva from Afrika Blue. They've maintained their supremacy. And Mendo got to change over to the Soldier now. Gods taking the Roadhog. So back to triple tank it is for C9.
Back to the classic.
Yeah, but
A lot of ults for Afrika right now.
how are they going to approach this? Because they did lose control of that high ground. We can see that Recry is up there with attack visor right now.
Oh, they're just going to try to muscle their way back in there. Mendo saying live, oh, not so much anymore. Recry, though, comes in with the nano visor. Gets a couple, going to get more before it's all said and done. Yeah, not even the hook can take him out. He gets a couple more at the Helix Rocket before he finally kills himself. I believe that was a double kill suicide with the Helix Rocket at the end there from Recry.
It sure looked like it, didn't it?
Man, that works.
No nano boost for Amon, though. You have to rely solely on this Dragon Blade. And with all those hero swaps, Cloud9 not looking great when it comes to ults. They've got one push left over, and this has got to be it.
Yeah, White Adam nowhere close to that sound barrier. Only that Earth Shatter to use. Here comes Rib. On the Reinhardt. Oh, that could be dangerous. Surf4 trying to body block any shots that might come in. Arhan pulling up the Dragon Blade.
Arhan got a kill.
Uh-oh.
I got 2. That's absolutely huge right now. They couldn't have had that happen.
Cloud9 might just get stopped right here. They've only got about 25 seconds left.
Yeah, they do. Really impressive hold here from Afrika Blue on that last point. Arhan is back on the Bastion.
I love it.
This is such a great swap. I mean, when you're so good at Bastion like Arhan is, then why not just switch it? Because you know they have to get onto that payload at some point or other. And He's just going to be a jerk.
And again, there's no Genji on the other side too. He knows when the good time to do it. Here comes the payload. Bastion ready to roll, or not roll. Oh, he's getting rolled a little bit. Has to be careful. There's the sentry mode yet again. Cloud9 going to lose that Reinhardt shield very fast. They back away. Fire Strike comes through. Gets the heal. Swaps back for a bit of damage here. Afrika Blue just trying to buy time now. There's a nano boost. They're going to give it to him in Sentry Farm. Oh, but he gets hit with a gigantic Earth Shatter coming in for Cloud9. But Mendo can't quite get the damage done. Recry with a better Tac Visor on top. And that payload contested. There's the self-destruct. Arhan gets Adam coming back on that Bastion yet again, and that's going to be a full hold. Well, not a full hold, a 0.2 hold anyway for Afrika Blue, and they will limit Cloud9 to just 1 point on Gibraltar.
I do think it was ridiculous to put the nano boost on that Bastion at the end, Noah, when they had
absolutely
they had a soldier on top of Shuttle in a flank position with his Tac Visor up, and the Ana simply could have waited for the soldier to drop down, nano boosted him, and caught them in a Bastion nano visor flank. So, I mean, not great way to close, not a beautiful way to close out that game by any means from Afrika Blue, but what are you going to do? They still managed to make that hold. The Bastion at the end is very annoying. You'll notice that Afrika Blue let the payload roll up into view of Bastion intentionally so that they would have that long, the long sight lines throughout the end of the hangar. And this is going to be quite difficult for Cloud9 to hold here, as it's not very hard to get to point 2 of Gibraltar.
You know, Monty, it's about sending a message. You beat someone with a nano-boosted Bastion, that's demoralizing. That hurts.
You have to know they have Earth Shatter too. I mean, that was pretty sloppy.
Oh yeah.
That gets punished super hard in a different situation.
It can, but not this time. So Afrika Blue on the attack. Looks like Recry may be taking out that McCree. We'll see if he decides to stick with it. But Cloud9 in real danger of losing this match, and that would mean that Group C is a bit more open than we thought it was going to be.
Absolutely, could definitely come down to the wire.
Yeah.
And especially since Cloud9 still has their most difficult game ahead, which is their game against Kongdu Uncia.
Yep.
And Afrika Blue probably has their easiest game ahead, so against Konbok Spirit. That means that this match may be sort of the death of Cloud9, unless they are going to pull off a huge upset against Kongdu Uncia.
I mean, if you're not going to beat Afrika Blue, you're probably not going to beat Kongdu in the state they're in right now. So
I would think that would be very unlikely.
It's going to be tough. Cloud9, though, looking to make it happen. If they can hold on point A, they can still send this to map 5. But they need to hold right here.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a huge hold. And they do not have a very mobile defense. So problem here is Afrika Blue have 3 heroes that can dive. And you can see everybody up top right now for this defense. But if that Genji decides to go into the back line, if Mendo decides to go attack their supports, then they are going to have a really rough time of it.
They're trying to take a very, very safe position right here. Oh, they do take out Rib early, though.
Yeah, they had nobody else on the low ground. Gods was knocked off and taking a breather.
Yeah, Arhan trying to stay alive against Gods' Roadhog. And Recry just been untouched on this McCree so far. The payload is moving fast.
Their tanks are dead. Somebody has to go down there. That's the unfortunate reality, is when your Reinhardt dies that early on into the push, then your Genji or your soldier or your supports have to go onto that point. So you don't really have much to stop them with. You go down there, you get flashbanged, and you get crushed.
All right, well, God's coming in actually really aggressively, and if he gets taken out, well, they did get the kill on Adam. Okay. On Blue Adam, rather. So Cloud9 will be able to slow this push down a little bit.
I mean, but they're not. Like, Arhan was playing so aggressively that, you know, they didn't have anybody there to really contest the payload, and with the respawn so close, easy to reinforce that. So everything keeps rolling smoothly, and nobody's on top of Shuttle for Cloud9 right now, so high ground control ceded over to Afrika.
Sure, 4 with the nano visor, or the tac visor at least. Meanwhile, Arhan with the nano blade going in against the tac visor. Nano boost, nano boost. Arhan has to retreat. Recry with the kill on Mendo, though. Sure, 4 coming from the high ground, looking for a bit more, but finally finds the kill onto Arhan. Will he get anything else? Not so sure. That payload is getting very close to what could be the end here.
Very
self-destruct.
Uncomfortably close, but the self-destruct isn't going to do anything. However, the turnaround definitely coming here for C9.
Yeah. Well, Adam kills Gods, though, so it is shorthanded for Cloud9 right now. Recry, very low health. He's taken down. Adam gets the kill, Blue Adam, rather, on Sure4. Mendo just trying to stay alive, trying to keep this payload from moving because it is right there. Afrika Blue on the verge of winning this best of 5. And they are so well. Oh, yeah, that's it. All right. Afrika Blue. Somehow, some way, they find a method to do it, and they will take out Cloud9.
Wow, impressive play on Gibraltar right there. Much stronger than we have seen on Numbani from there, where they got rolled by C9 so quickly. And with that, Afrika Blue keeps their hopes alive in this tournament. They will go on to play Konbok Spirit next, and if they win that, they will find themselves most likely in the playoffs unless we see a huge upset from Cloud9 against Hongdae Wonsia.